Hi, I'm Anne Bowditch. So I've been sent a message and it's been requested that I cover the topic of self-worth. So I'm going to start with the early days and the things that might impact your self-worth when you're a young child. A lot of my work is dealing with people's belief systems, and that is all linked to our subconscious mind. So if you think about the subconscious mind as effectively our programming system, so imagine our mind is like a great big database of information. That information is predominantly the things that have happened to us in our lives, how we've perceived those events, the things people have said to us, and the way others have behaved to us. And also there can be an element of what we call learned behavior. So we pick up behavior from other people. So if we have a parent that's very critical of themselves, it's quite possible that we would pick up that behavior. So probably one of the biggest is, when it comes to self-worth, is events in lives and the way people have spoken or behaved towards us. So I'll give you a few examples. If you have a family member who has frequently put you down, maybe told you you're not good enough, for instance, you might have done quite well in an exam or a little test. You might have got 8 out of 10 and thought, yeah, that was good. And then you go home and then you have a parent who's like, that's not good enough. They may even say your brother or sister did better. And then you start to think, oh, I'm not so good, not so capable. Or it might be that others prioritize other people over you. So, for instance, you might be left out of friendship groups. Or sometimes it's the way adults behave towards us, where they favour one child over the other, or that's how you see an event happens. It can be how teachers have behaved towards you. Oh, you're never going to make anything of yourself. Oh, that's really harsh, and that really sticks in your mind. It's really important how people talk to us when we're younger. I know somebody who one of their parents has always put them down. Whenever they've taken up any hobby or whatever, they've always made a joke of it. And so this person sought feelings of self-worth in other ways by being funny. And in fact, if you knew this person, you'd be probably surprised that they do lack some levels of self-worth, because they come across quite confident. So it's amazing what a show we can put on when we need to. So based on those life events that I've just been talking about as examples, you might believe that you're not good enough, that you're not worthy. And those beliefs we carry forward, and that starts to change the way we behave. So sometimes people even sabotage good events for themselves because they don't deep down feel worthy. And it's a very subconscious sabotage. So it is really important to deal with that belief system. Now, in terms of how I do it with my clients, and I use techniques such as hypnotherapy and emotional freedom technique. We can start to make that belief system much more encouraging, much more positive, and then you start to see life in a different way, and more importantly, see yourself in a different way. You realise that actually you weren't the problem, these other people were the problem. And then later on in life, other things might cause you not to have such high self-worth. Sometimes things like sport. If you're maybe not so sporty and other people around you are really sporty and you're the last person picked for a team, or people are sort of taking the mick out of you, joking about you, sort of pointing fun at you, that can cause you to feel really rubbish. So that's really important. And things like our job. Sometimes another member of staff might be constantly putting your work down when actually they're the one who's really insecure, but they're trying to find fault with your work because they are so insecure that they feel, oh gosh, this person's pretty good, but I need to make them feel rubbish because I'm worried that they're going to do better than me. So somebody who's maybe, like I say, putting your work down a lot. Something else that's key is often relationships. If you're someone who already doesn't have high self-worth, it's quite possible that you may fall into a relationship which is quite one-sided. Sometimes I feel there's an energy that the other person can pick up on, which is the lack of self-worth that you have, and then they become somebody who can effectively abuse that lack of self-worth. If you're in any type of abusive relationship, whether it's a verbally abusive relationship, somebody constantly either putting you down or using stronger abusive language, then obviously you really do need to address that and speak to somebody about that. And we know that men can end up in abusive relationships, and if it's a verbally abusive relationship, that is not okay. And if your partner is being verbally abusive to you, or whether they're constantly putting you down, then you do need to have a conversation with them about that. Or please, if you don't feel comfortable doing that, then please speak to somebody, a good friend or a family member to start with, and then see how you go from there. If you're in a physically abusive relationship, then that's even more relevant that you do speak to somebody and get some help on that, because obviously that is not acceptable. So that lack of self-worth can cause you to behave in such a way that doesn't allow you to fulfill your full potential. And it is so important that you create that level of self-worth. So always bear in mind how people behave to you might be more about them than it is about you. Just a question for you, really. How would your life be different if you had that self-worth? What would you be doing? Would you be doing a different job? Would you be in a different relationship? Would you have a different circle of friends? Would you be doing something different with your life in a different way? So think about that side of things, and you can certainly resolve those older issues that have caused that lack of self-worth. And that's the brilliant thing about the subconscious mind, is that it can be worked with. I always look at the subconscious mind as very pliable, a bit like plasticine. It can be changed around. And that's the great thing, is there are tools available and accessible and people that you can see that can really help that happen. So I hope that's been useful. Please feel free to follow me. I'm on Twitter, Guernsey Hypno, Hypno. I'm on Facebook as energyofanxiety.com or hypnotherapy and holistic health. My websites currently are hypnotherapy.gg or energyofanxiety.com. And I'm Anne Bowditch. My book is available, which is called The Energy of Anxiety, and that's on Amazon. And thanks for following. Please subscribe if you'd like to follow some more.